Hello and welcome to the Ballcard Show, the sports podcast.
For the Sports Collector.
I'm Jason Otero.
I'm Gary LeMaster.
And this is Season 5 and Episode 26. Fresh off of the national hangover.
Yeah, the hangover's over, but man, 26
already
episodes this year.
Already. It's almost like we didn't take a month off randomly like we used to do back in the day. Like, we don't feel like doing this next week, so we'll see you guys eventually. People would text us and be like, you guys quit doing the podcast? Or, no, we decided to stick it out. We're enjoying it. Been meeting a lot of you, engaging with you all, and it's been a lot of fun. Gary, I got to say.
What do you got to say?
You know how they say that someone has a glow about them when they're pregnant?
Yeah, I know.
I think you look a little bit less fat today.
Well, I mean, I did start keto/carnivore a week ago.
Yeah.
I've lost like 11 or 12 pounds this week.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you know where I notice it the most? The side flaps. The side flaps.
The mud flaps?
Yeah, when I put the arms down, nothing pinches right now.
There you go.
It's a good feeling. So,
yeah, you were having a health scare the other day. You didn't know what beta-alanine did to you.
No, I was trying to find an energy drink that was keto friendly, like no carbs, no sugar. And so I stumbled onto C4, and I drank one, and I was headed up here for something, and I thought I was having a stroke. Like, I was still in the middle of the death rattle coughs from the plague you gave everybody.
You're all welcome, everyone that came in contact with me.
And every time I cough, it felt like somebody was sticking a cattle prod at the base of my neck and just shooting it down my body. And I'm telling you about it, and you're like, you said you drank a C4? I was like, yeah. He went, oh, beta-alanine. Now here's the problem. I kind of like it.
Yeah. It's
kind of like
I don't like itching behind my eyeballs, really. Let's jump into some hobby news right away. PSA has a promotion that's got a lot of people talking. No doubt when you're watching this, it just dropped last night from the recording, so this has got a couple days to marinate for everyone. But essentially a special they're doing through August 31st, where rather than paying $75 a card for the regular service rate, you could pay $50 a card and get upgraded to a 10-day turnaround on the grade if and only if you agree on the front end that whatever grade this card gets, either way, whether it's a 7 or a 10, is going off to consignment for eBay through their through PSA for their eBay store.
Yep, 99-cent starting bid. It's either a 5 or 7 day auction, and it rides. So
if you think you have a 10 and it gets a 7 and it's on the auction block,
you're toast
because you're in for $50.
Yeah, you're toast.
They're incentivized to hand out more gems. Like, let's not pretend the most profitable thing for PSA to do, which is would not be the most ethical, is, hey, if it's on these 10-day turnarounds, boys, if it has a chance at going to a 10, let's get a 10 there.
Yeah.
Because it's going straight to the auction block.
Well, and here's where it gets real sticky. Like, we can say, and I've heard plenty of content creators say when they talk about PSA, especially the big names that are kind of tied in with PSA, well, they would never compromise their ethics for that, blah, blah, blah.
Sure.
And I'm even willing to give the benefit of the doubt there. But I will say is this. PSA, you're creating an environment where the perception of a lot of the things you're doing right now is going to lead to people drawing conclusions.
Yep.
If all of a sudden the gem rate does spike a little bit, it's real easy to say, well, here's why.
Yeah.
And this is a problem when anytime there's a monopoly of any kind, these are the kind of problems you run into. PSA, instead of being a grading company only now, is a company who is also an eBay consignment store. Mm-hmm. They're also a vault. They're also...
Well, it's even some of the partnerships, like whatever PSA's actual involvement is with that graded grail repack, like their logo's going on it. So whether or not they're just saying, yep, you get the PSA seal because they're all ours, that's not how Jeff's promoting it. That's not how people are perceiving it. There are a lot of people that thought this was a PSA product. So
yeah, well, and you end up with a situation where now, like we talked about last week, PSA is offering to buy cards directly when you scan it with your PSA app to check the pop report. Or anything else.
Yeah, so what happens if the next iteration of this is, hey, you will get a shortened turnaround time and a cheaper grading fee if you're going to allow us to buy back that slab in whole at 80-85%. Now the gem rate's going to pop off only for those who spent that money to pay $50. It may not affect the gem rate as a whole, but I'd sure be interested to see the gem rate on those 10-day turnarounds.
And it's unfortunate because even if that's not the reality, that's going to be the perception.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's a stretch to say that the only reason PSA would be buying cards is either they're going to offer their own repack product, which I think would be terrible for the industry, or they're going to start buying stuff and then trying to sell it through their eBay consignment area, and then they pocket the profits.
I think there's a category C. I didn't think of it until you just said this. And I understand the reason they might be doing it.
Okay, I want to hear what your thoughts are.
So, in this regard, PSA is targeting the collector that primarily likes to rip.
Okay.
So it is a way for people that rip higher volumes. Maybe they don't have a super defined PC, but they like to open the new product. And if it's a cool card, they hang on to it. But it's giving them a way to immediately churn through what they've opened and just get it on the marketplace. There are people who just rip wax. And if we see the direction that Fanatics is moving with a lot of things, you're going to see a lot more emphasis on opening the new product, chasing the debut patch, the all-star patch, or whatever. And so it is giving a turnkey solution, if you will, if you don't look too hard into the numbers,
right?
Of a way, as soon as I rip this stuff, I just want to send it off right away. And what's the other thing it's incentivizing? For those of you saying, well, there's no point in sending it off now, you're going to wait 3 months. If all you're doing is planning on selling it anyway and it's not your PC, in theory, it's a very convenient thing for the collector that rips wax.
It is. I think, though, again, I just think it's problematic when a company whose main thrust of business for 35 years has been, we examine cards and have created a grading scale so that the general public can know the quality of the card that they're buying, and we encapsulate it. That's what they have generated revenue with for 35 years. And it's not like that revenue is slowing down.
Sure.
It's just getting bigger.
Yep.
There's a problem when the person who's supposed to be a impartial arbiter of condition is...
By the way, you get $10 for those words.
You like that?
That was good.
Like when somebody who's supposed to be an impartial arbiter. Yeah, when somebody is supposed to be that.
I thought you said an arborist at first.
No, that would be weird. When a person is supposed to be that impartial, like, judge, all of a sudden has a vested interest economically in how much these cards sell for.
Yep.
That's not the greatest look nor the greatest long-term business decision, in my opinion.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't know how much there was to add to that. But
I don't disagree. It's like, you have like a long-standing pizza place that's known for having the best pizza in town, and they're like, I think we're going to do steaks now on the side. Now, do people want steak? A little bit, but they're there for the pizza.
I think it's more the better example there would be.
Well, you're on carnivore, so you really don't.
No, the pizza restaurant is a good one, but it's more like the pizza restaurant not saying we want to sell steak, but them saying, hey,
we're putting a car wash in the back.
Well, we're saying, hey, we're going to sell the pizza. And then in addition to selling the pizza, we also want to take a cut of the driver's mileage and tips or whatever else. Like,
I guess we're both saying the same thing. How does selling enhance the brand of PSA?
It doesn't enhance the brand. It enhances their bottom
credibility.
line. It doesn't enhance credibility. It enhances bottom line. It's
Yeah.
all based on bottom line, not anything else.
Yeah.
And that's not a great look, especially for a company that's not like they're running in the red.
Yeah, I think what would have been more strategic for them would to be find a established consignor and just offer that handoff and build a valuable relationship there of like, hey, we're offering this new service, and we'll even do a bump up for the first 3 months on the turnaround time.
Yeah.
But it goes to this third party. Now, what remains to be seen is where these cards actually end up, how they sell. But the gem rate is going to be a very interesting conversation.
Yeah, I agree.
At the very least. I understand the intention, I believe. I think that turnkey model is what they're looking for. But there are definitely some things that I have questions about, and we'll see.
Anytime you incentivize potential bad behavior, you're going to get bad behavior.
Yeah. Okay, let's continue. People are spending money. People are spending lots of money. It's not slowing down. This week on Golden Auctions, Caitlin Clark, 1 of 1 out of that rookie royalty product that we love so much.
Popped off.
$317,000 with the buyer's premium.
Yep.
So Huge number, crazy number. I still believe not even player associated logo patch.
Not at all. Straight off the Dick's Sporting Goods rack.
Yeah, right off of the rack into the card. And it was like I think it was the Rookie of the Year inscription. I can't remember.
Didn't you say
one.
that's the 6th?
11th
six-figure Caitlin
11th
card.
six-figure card. Now, that's according to Collectibles on SI, but that's 11 six-figure cards this year in the last year of Caitlin Clark that have moved.
Yeah.
So the demand is there. The Caitlin Clark narrative on a whole hasn't died down at all. As a matter of fact, Stephen A. Smith ran a story. You showed it to me, and it took me a minute to register, like, is there significance in this? But
it's because it's hard with Stephen A. Smith because, like you said, he uses 50 words when he could use 2.
I mean, now, far more eloquent. He has a lot better. Gary, I'm going to say this. You could aspire towards his vocabulary.
Just not his hairline.
And you have a refined vocabulary, I must admit. But I've never seen someone turn 1 minute into 6.
Charles Dickens, man.
1 minute into 6.
1 minute.
Keep talking, Jason. You're doing great. You're doing great. Do a dance for him. But as he's unpacking what's happening here, he's talking about, is there truly discrimination going on with Caitlin? And you sent me the article. Then he starts dropping names of departments showing interest in the story. It's kind of crazy.
So what he did was he covered, and this is why it's a big deal.
This is Wall Street Journal.
This isn't a Stephen A. Smith story. This is Stephen A. covering a Wall Street Journal.
This is us covering Stephen A. Smith covering a Wall Street Journal.
The 7 degrees of Caitlin Clark. So the Wall Street Journal ran an article basically quoting sources saying that the United States Department of Justice is examining whether or not to open an investigation into the WNBA's treatment of Caitlin Clark, which on its surface sounds absurd. It really does.
Yeah, my first reaction was, bro, chill.
Yeah, it sounds absurd.
Calm down.
However, when you look at, and this is something that Jason and I have talked about off pod a few times, and we've touched a little bit on it on the pod, but there have been long-standing discussions around the WNBA and the way that it's gate kept by the players and some of the fans even. There are real civil rights conversations taking place in the Department of Justice here, where the WNBA is ignoring the targeting of Caitlin Clark, both physically on the court and verbally off the court. That's the gist of the article, but the same way, and I said this a few weeks ago, and the Wall Street Journal guy said it too, in the same way that Michael Jordan massively elevated the NBA in the late 80s, Caitlin Clark is doing that for the WNBA now. Listen to these numbers. Since Caitlin Clark was drafted, overall merchandise sales for the WNBA are up 601%. Viewership has more than doubled. Team values, this is the big one, have tripled.
Not just her team.
Not just her team. Overall, team
interesting.
values have tripled. League Pass subscriptions have gone up 366%, and app engagement has gone up 613%. Yet, we've got situations where she is being, like, drilled and fouls aren't being called. We have situations where her teammates are having to physically confront people to keep it from happening. We have the league ignoring it. We have leaders in the league, like team owners, saying things like, she shouldn't have been Times Athlete of the Year. Like, it's not a pretty scenario, and it doesn't make business sense. And I think that's why this is happening.
I agree with everything you're saying about it not making business sense and that people are just ignoring numbers right in front of them. But what I will also say is, I never cared if people were trash talking or hacking somebody that was really good in the league in the 90s.
I don't think Caitlin
loved it.
I don't think Caitlin Clark cares.
Yeah, I think that's an important piece.
Yeah,
of this.
I don't think Caitlin Clark gives a crap at all. I think Caitlin Clark's wired that she's going to go out and do her thing, and you're not going to stop her no matter what you do. But the fact that this is garnering enough attention that we've got Justice Department officials examining it,
that
crazy.
was a little surprising.
It's crazy to me.
It was surprising to me at that point.
Something to just keep an eye on and keep a pulse on for that. Let's talk about a couple products that got released and then announced. Let's go announced first.
I want to talk about another sale.
Okay, you want to talk about another sale first?
I was excited about this.
Okay, talk about the sale then.
I like this in contrast to all of the ultra modern people that are hyping up Caitlin's market.
Talk it up.
Roberto Clemente, 1955, and a PSA 9 sold. In the last
Huge grade.
week. Now, that's a Pop 10, Pop 11.
Pop 11, I think.
Pop 11 with one higher, with 110. The PSA 9 just sold for $1.15 million.
Yeah. And a little bit surprising, but also not. I've noticed a huge uptick in...
Heritage Auctions carried that one.
Yeah. I've noticed a huge uptick just in chatter recently across Instagram, Facebook. The vintage guys that I know looking for Clemente stuff, especially game-used patches. There aren't a ton of them out there.
Yeah.
There's been an uptick in that in the last few weeks. So when you told me about this sale, I was both shocked and I was like, oh,
Yep.
okay, maybe that makes a little bit of sense based on what I've been seeing and hearing.
Well, and what you at that price point with vintage, probably what you're looking at, because volatility is going to be a little different for the vintage market to the Caitlin market, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you're looking at more people move real money into that alternative asset class with stuff like this, like a 55 Clemente and a high grade. They're not expecting there to be a lot more 9s or 10s popping off anytime in the near future. And it's just not a card they're going to make anymore. So
no, and it's a card, like you said, the volatility is so minimal on that card. Like, unless there's overall massive economic crisis, it's probably not going to go down much at all, and it's just going to incrementally increase. Same thing if you're buying Mantle.
It could soften
rookies.
a little bit, but it's not going to peel off 40% down.
No, it's not going to do like that Kobe BGS Black Label 10 refractor rookie that sold for, a little bit over 1.7 million, and then when it sold again, it sold for 960,000.
Because quick question for you.
Yeah.
That $317,000 Caitlin.
Okay.
I hope it never happens. But what if she had a career-ending injury in the next, let's say, a year and a half, 2 years from now?
Yeah, it's going to be
that
bad.
turns into what?
50, maybe less.
Guess what walked up to the table this week?
What walked up?
A Zion.
Oh, I did see that card.
Man.
Yes, $180K at one point, and there was a $4,500 tag on it.
Yeah. And not moving.
No, I wasn't.
And it's not moving. So comparing those two, Caitlin's got this upside. She's changed the game, all this, yes, but somebody already paid $317K. By the way, if you go back to that Clemente, I don't have the number pulled up, but it was somewhere in the last 10 years, I think like 8 to 10 years ago. So before the COVID boom and all that in the hobby, it was either the 9 or a 10. I think it was the 10, but I could be wrong. That moved for just over $400,000.
Yeah.
So if we back up 10 years, that Clemente is holding up to that value of the Clayton now.
Triple. Yeah.
So I love seeing the vintage card market when one like it really pops off.
Yeah. But again, all super condition sensitive. Vintage is all that.
Pop, all that stuff.
New product was announced by Topps this week. Actually, a really cool product.
Yeah.
I'm actually really excited about it. Maybe the second most excited I am about a Topps product that's coming next to the SpongeBob Topps Chrome that's coming out. That's my most exciting thing. Topps Chrome is releasing their first licensed boxing products in 50 years.
Wow.
Or no, longer than that. It's since 1951. So 74 years. And it looks great. It looks like an open, almost borderless with like that Topps gilded feel around it. The images that they showed. Could be a huge product. I don't think a lot of people realize how big the boxing market is in general. You
have some international interest too.
And you've had some good luck with some vintage boxing stuff.
Well, I hope that this pops off because it's only going to help the vintage stuff I still have.
Yeah,
for sure.
And I'm going to guess that it's a product that obviously I seriously doubt it will have retail SKUs. It's probably going to be hobby only. My guess is it'll be relatively short printed compared to everything else, the first release of it, so they can see how it does. But you're talking about having like Tyson Fury autos, licensed Tyson Fury autos, and Mike Tyson autos, and like stuff like that. That's going to be really good. I think they said 4 of the 5 major promotions are signed on to this. So
differently from the MMA and the big 3, I think this product is likely one that targets the end user collector, the PC, a lot more than. Even with UFC, you have got people that prospect rookies. Now, I'm sure that's still going to happen in the boxing, but boxing almost is like this pseudo celebrity / sport experience. And it has been for a super long time. Mm-hmm. So you have people that are more collecting a celebrity of sorts, so somebody built that out. Boxing is weird too. Like you find some of those sets that are like There's some like the 90s Browns boxing stuff that looks just like a base card, but it's never sold.
Yeah.
You throw that up and some dude in Australia buys it for $400.
Yeah.
Like it's happened to me before. Boxing has got some very devout followers.
Yep.
And people entering, so you have people that have been collecting memorabilia all these years, gloves, belts, all that kind of
now
stuff.
they can get cards.
Now they can go get those card autos that are licensed.
Yep.
And it's not just the vintage guys.
And
So-
they won't. Most of the boxing stuff that's out there right now, that's modern and ultra modern, the autos are sticker autos. I imagine there will be on card autos in this. I can't swear to that because I didn't read that deep into it, but I would guess that's the case.
I mean, I still move the Tyson Fury Leaf stuff.
Oh, yeah.
it'll
No,
sell
for sure.
me. I have one right now.
That was the promo card that they showed in the ad. Was a
Yeah.
Tyson Fury Gold auto. It was a beautiful card. National Treasures football released this week.
Yes, it did.
Most of the big cards have been pulled. We've seen the 1-of-1 Penix, a few of the different 1-of-1 Bo Nixes I've seen. I didn't see the Shield yet, but there has been at least one 1-of-1 Jaden Daniels pulled. Shocking part to me, I figured it would be a 4K box.
2,500.
2,500.
Right?
Yeah. Still insane for what the product is. In my opinion, we've had that discussion before. If you're spending $2,500 on a box, there should never be a sticker auto in the product ever. Like that shouldn't happen.
And then the other question is like, and I've noticed this across the board. It's Fanatics doing it too, but the vet list on these.
Oh, it's so deep.
So it's almost like they're like, well, this guy won a Super Bowl one time. But when that's one of the auto hits on a $2,500 box and it's a $30, $40 card, that's just tough to take.
Yeah, you get your Trent
It's
Dilfer,
tough
your Brad
to take,
Johnson
yeah.
auto. So
I still love watching the product, though. It's a fun one to watch rip. I don't see the – I mean, if I wanted I would buy the singles, obviously. But if I was forced, I would probably get into a break. The problem is, like, even fractionalized, like, there's only so many cards in here, guys. Yeah, and you need to hit a decent one to recoup. So – but NT is out. The other thing I noticed, I made note of here, is Topps Tier 1 is reintroducing the cut autos.
I saw a couple of those on TikTok.
But they're like historic, like Harry Houdini is in there.
In Tier 1, normally that's like a archives or heritage product.
It's a higher end. So Tier 1 is doing Harry Houdini, Thomas Edison, George Patton, Marlon Brando, Charles Dickens. Now, here's what I can tell you. Yeah, a year or two ago, I'm making the same face as you. But now that I got that eBay money rolling in, like, that kind of stuff is so exciting to me because people, and I think there's more awareness around it now, but the non-sport, like, historic, I was crushing it with those Decision 2024 numbered cards.
Oh, yeah. Well,
I mean, some of them for like $400. It was
non-sport
insane.
in general. Topps Chrome Sapphire Marvel came out this last week, and it's going insane. It's like $600 a box.
Cool looking cards.
Yeah, really cool looking cards. But just the collectibles market in general right now, guys, not just sports, is just flying. Yeah. So even if you don't care about sports cards, if there's something you do like and they make cards for it, go have some fun with it. Like
this is a risk I'm taking right now, because whenever I ask you a question on the spot. You haven't had time to think about what am I going to say, and am I allowed to say this?
The dome. Yep, you're getting it right off the dome.
So I'd really prefer not to have to cut this and start again.
Okay.
If you could pick one historical figure to have a cut auto of for the PC that you're like, it just wouldn't go anywhere. I'm going to give you a moment. It's like, it's probably going to be valuable, right? You're opening a pack. And it's a historical. We got to say what, like the last 150 to 200 years.
Yeah, we'll call it. I'm comfortable saying 100 years.
Yeah.
This is going to be a really weird one.
I'm so scared.
No, it's nothing to be scared of. It would probably be Jimmy Carter.
Why is that?
One of the few politicians in the last 100 years that I respect as a human being across the board.
That was probably the last answer I was ever
that's what I'm guessing it was,
have.
but that's probably who I would pick. Now, some of my secondary picks might be a little more saucy, but Jimmy Carter would probably be the one that I would pick off the dome. Or, maybe a Oswald or somebody like that.
Wild controversial
Lee Harvey
thing.
Oswald, yeah.
Yeah, I'll be following that because I do think some of those, like Ulysses S. Grant was mentioned on there. I think that Charles Dickens, but the Marlon Brando.
If there's a Robert E. Lee, I might
lot.
have to grab it because that's family relation way back.
All right.
Way back.
There it is. Let's move on. Now, I made a little note here for content creators, and I just don't know if you're in the right frame of mind for this, but I'm going to give you the floor if you want it.
I'm in the frame of mind for it, and I'm going to try to be cognizant of our conversation prior to recording this podcast. Okay. I don't know that I'm going to be able to completely, but I'm going to just let this out.
Words are coming out of your mouth, not mine, Gary's.
In the last week and a half, maybe 2 weeks, there has been an influx, and I don't know why, of new content creators on TikTok who I think have seen people in other niches do this shtick. And all it does in our space, all it does is confirm all the worst stereotypes about this hobby. If I see one more person with 7 teeth and no shirt on and hair that doesn't look like it's been washed or brushed in a month, roll out of their bed with their camera on and give a terrible sports card take to their 7 followers, I'm going to lose my mind.
You feel better?
I'll feel better when they stop making that awful content.
So I would like to say that I will be offering discounts at my booth for anyone missing 7 teeth that will create content and tag it down below. As a matter of fact,
with their shirt off,
let's have fun with this. I would like for you guys to emulate this and post video replies all through this video.
I can deal with it as sarcasm. I can deal with it as satire. What I can't deal with it is a person who's actually serious.
Hey,
here.
Guys.
Their close-up movement with the cam like this.
All right, we got you.
Can't take it.
Just to be clear, none of this ever would have happened if you all wouldn't have complimented his hat. Like, pre-cartoon hat compliments, he doesn't have the kind of confidence to do this to people.
Sure I do.
To demean like this.
Sure
to be hard on creators. Who cares if they have 7 followers? Give your take. It's TikTok, bro.
Absolutely give your take.
This isn't Harvard Business School.
Absolutely give your take. But don't look on purpose like the smelly, awful person that we all talk about at card shows.
This is a hygiene video? Is that what this is really about?
It's the combo of it. Like, what are the stereotypes of people in this hobby?
You're the one laying it out.
No, we've talked about this, but we did a whole episode on hobby stereotypes.
I was just caught off a little off guard. I've seen like bad content where people just like start the camera and have no idea what they're about to say and then just post it.
I would rather see that than
that's
this.
That's the only stuff I see where I'm like, I just lost a minute, I can't get back. However, we've had many comments like that in our videos.
Fair. That's
fair. You guys took 4 minutes to say something that could have taken 30 seconds.
Stephen A. Smith time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
1 minute. Oh, I know what's next. You introduce it.
Okay. We've done this every year in some form or fashion. We're very excited about it. It tends to be something where more of you are engaged following throughout the football season. When we do, we're going to do Football Flip 2025. Now, what is that? That's a great question. I'm glad you asked. Football Flip 2025 will work like this. Gary and I are each given a fictitious $1,500 budget to go out and buy slabbed rookie cards consisting of a quarterback, 3 wide receivers, a running back, and a tight end.
Yep.
We will use that $1,500 budget, marking where we bought at each card at the price point. Now, that purchase will be a recent comp. We'll have to figure out how we kind of average that out to make sure that it's reasonable. Yep. But once we do that, we will be tracking the progress of each of these players through the football season. What's our deadline? Probably week 10? We don't want to go too far. 2/12?
I think we want to go until the playoff picture looks reasonably set because that's when things are going to max. So like week 14?
Okay, week 14.
Yeah.
So we'll run this to week 14. We'll be giving you updates along the way. Here's how this works. Whichever one of our teams that we've built based off of their graded rookies has the highest percentage of gain over that 14-week window in the season is the winner.
Easy.
Right? So where it gets a little more interesting is maybe you want to get a $400 true RPA.
Yep.
But then that means on a more obvious lock, you can afford the base PSA 10 Prism.
Yep.
Right? So follow us on this. The next few weeks, next week we're gonna do that, and then we're also gonna have an opportunity for you to get involved with it. We'll be announcing that next week as well.
Well, because the loser of this,
yes, this is what's fun.
Much like a little bit like our challenge a couple years ago, the loser of this, whichever card the winner had the biggest percentage gain in, the loser has to go buy that card
at the current
comp for the winner
because they were too dumb to buy it when they should have.
Yeah.
So did we explain that well?
Yeah, I think so.
You think people are confused?
No, I think it would be hard to be confused. I'm sure there will be some people who are, but
They're just rolling out of bed anyway.
Yeah, I think that it'll be a lot of fun. Next week, we will announce what our picks are, and then we will announce the way that you guys can get engaged with this and maybe get a little something for yourself.
Get a little something, something.
A little something, something.
All right, I want to carry on the conversation we had last week on the pod. And we put a clip up. There was a lot of discussion about it. The immediate context at that point was we were talking about repacks, and you made the
you said a broad stroke.
You made the assertion about degenerate gambling. I said you're making too broad a stroke. We went back and forth if it's gambling, if it's whatever it is. But I do think it brought up a bigger conversation that I think we need to talk about. Because what I've noticed, especially when you boil this down and put it on socials and get it out to everybody, people have such a one frame of mind thought on how this is supposed to work based off of what they like the most. We all have a level of bias.
Very little shades of gray.
Right. So I'm going to read just a series of questions, right? And I know how your mind works, where these questions leading. I'm going to give you the entire floor, but we're going to try something where I just ask questions and you just say yes or no.
Okay. And
Can
just
you do
nothing
it?
more
No,
than
no,
that.
no,
Just yes or no?
Yes or no.
Okay.
What we're trying to define here is what a collector actually is, okay?
Okay.
Because that seems to be what a lot of people are debating. Many people think collecting is only one thing. Many people think it can't be something else. So here we go. Do collectors buy singles?
Absolutely. Yes.
So we know that there are collectors that buy singles. Okay. Do collectors rip wax?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's collectors out there, they just rip wax. Do collectors join breaks?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So they can buy a single, they can rip packs, they can join breaks. Do collectors join repacks?
You've only given me two options here.
You're already you made it four.
Yes.
Yeah. Do they?
Okay.
Yes. Or if they don't, then it's a no. But
yes.
do collectors
Yes.
join repacks? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Do collectors set build?
Yeah.
And do collectors flip cards?
Yeah.
Okay. So collectors can rip, collectors can buy singles, collectors can buy into repacks, collectors can set build, and collectors can flip. And do all of those things and still be considered collectors?
Yeah. Now, here's the issue.
Oh, I would like to give you the floor, Gary. Go ahead. I would like to give the remaining 30 seconds of my time to the gentleman
From Pickerington?
from where does SpongeBob live? Soggy Bottom?
Yeah.
Soggy Bottom's not right. Yes?
Yeah.
Bikini Bottom.
Bikini Bottom.
Bikini Bottom. Soggy Bottom is Man of Constant Sorrow.
Oh, that's true.
That's different.
So, here's the problem.
Oh, there's no problem. You answered all my
literally just said there needs to be a conversation with shades of gray. And then you forced me into black and white.
No, I didn't.
You did, yes or no. Yes and no is very black and
The
white.
gray is, the point I'm trying to make is, there are people that are actively buying singles as a collector, and they do repacks, and they're still a collector.
Yeah.
And they do breaks, and they're still a collector.
And there are people who actively do all those things who are also degenerate gamblers.
Sure.
The point is, and the point I was trying to make last week, and I thought I did a pretty good job of driving the point home. If the only reason you're buying a sports card or buying into a break is to get more money out of it than what you put into it, that is the definition of gambling. If the only joy you get out of this is turning $100 into $300, that's no different than playing blackjack and hoping to hit a blackjack.
So
that's my point.
Hold that stance.
Okay.
Gary, have you ever done something like a break
Sure.
or a repack
Yeah.
and use the win off of that directly towards a collection piece?
Absolutely, but that's different than what I just said. That's completely different than what I just said.
You're so siloed. It's so linear.
No, it's
that's
not.
what I'm saying. You are going.
The
listen.
definition of what I'm saying is very siloed. It doesn't mean that somebody who's a collector can't do A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. What I'm saying is if the only reason you do A, B, C, D, E, F, and G is to gain profit, if that's the only reason you do all those things.
We don't disagree on that.
But that's my only point.
No, it wasn't your only point.
It was.
No, it wasn't.
It 100% was.
You were saying the only reason people will do repacks is to be. That's where you started.
No.
And then you backtracked.
No.
And now we're backtracking.
No.
Step.
What I said was,
I'm saying, are there true collectors that are actively and consistently buying repacks, ripping wax, and getting into breaks?
Actively and consistently?
Yes.
No. That's where we disagree.
So you are the black and white. I'm allowing for gray area because hold on.
Actively.
Let me talk. I'm saying that there are people who have a PC, they go buy those cards, they flip. I mean, you and I, before this was a full-blown business for us, the flip was part of the collectability hobby as well.
Sure, but
I flip so I can get this card, so I can go get that piece that I like, so I can do like it. You're saying it can't be black. It can't be shades of gray. I'm saying there are shades of gray. There are people that are truly collectors that know I am going to get my butt handed to me when I open this hobby box of Topps Chrome this year. I know that I'm about to spend $400 and I might get a $50. I'm going to get a Pitcher's Auto in here, right?
No question.
So, are they not collectors?
No. Sure. Here's the line for me. It's very simple. Do you have a display on your wall or a box in your closet that's the stuff you love that you get out and look at, and the only way it's going anywhere is if it's to upgrade part of that collection?
Sure.
If you have that in some way, shape, or form, whether it's 2 cards or 50 cards, then you're a collector.
Okay, so if you have a PC, then it's not degenerate gambling to do a repack.
Oh, it still can be. You obviously, if you have a gambling problem, you have a gambling problem. You can have a PC and have a gambling problem.
Sure.
My point in that whole thing last week.
Let me cut to the chase because I like that I got you a little bit pissed because that's where I like to have you just like right on the edge of it. The point I'm trying to make is it is very easy for you and I, who are singles first people. We don't do a lot of breaks. We don't do a lot of repacks. There are very few of the times where I want to do this just for
I think
me.
I've done 2 repacks ever in my life.
There are situations like that where like when I go up to Newhart in Delaware, shout out Keith. Keith always has really cool late 90s, early 2000s stuff. For me, I want to relive that experience of opening that stuff.
Yes.
And it's a different perspective than what you're saying of like, am I going to get more than the $150 I spent on this? Right. No, I'm there with you. I'm there with you on that. But you and I are got to be really careful because it's easy for the singles market dealers like us to immediately throw all these other ways that people collect into this just like, well, that can't be for the PC, so you're not a collector, it's a gambler. That's the narrative that I'm pushing back on.
And that's a fair pushback.
It's a fair pushback.
That is not at all what I thought I was saying last week.
Okay.
Or that I intended to say last week. My point I thought was very clear. If the only reason you are buying a break, buying into a repack, buying a wax box, like if the only reason you're doing it is to turn $100 into $200, then that's not collecting.
Yeah.
That's gambling. That's my only point.
I think 99.9% of people would agree with you. I think the problem is most people, when they have this conversation, say what you're saying, but they really believe everyone in a break is only doing it to make.
Yeah, no, and that part I agree with you.
Because like what the intention behind that was, hey, we can break this up and on a budget we can open hobby. Like when that idea was presented, super smart.
For sure.
Very collector friendly. Hey, I only like the Dolphins. I only want the Dolphins out of this box. So in principle, some of these things that we're so quick to say, it's only the flip, it's only the gamble, it's only the chase, that's where I want to push back and say, it may not be for me.
Right, but I would also say that, like what you're talking about, ways that we can even like drill down into this more. If you're a collector, I only want the Dolphins in this break. How many random spin breaks are you getting into?
Right.
Like,
yeah, so you can't be in the wrong room if you're claiming that's what you're
my point.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. And with gambling, justification, trying to convince yourself of something that's a big part of the being in the hamster wheel with that.
Really important to note. This is really important to note. There are plenty of people who can responsibly gamble. I like to go to the casino sometimes and play poker.
I can't get you away from the poker table
or whatever else. I'm not using the rent money. I'm not whatever else. Same thing if I decide to rip wax. I don't do it very often, but if I do, it's with money that if it's gone, it's gone. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't have any effect on my life. We're not saying, and I'm not saying, that ripping wax is bad. I'm not saying that buying into a repack break is bad or any break is bad. I'm not saying that buying a single and hoping to sell it for more than you bought it for is bad. What I'm saying is that if the only reason you're doing X is Y, then that's just pure gambling. There's no collecting happening. And
so speak to the people that are out of touch that use this as an excuse.
In what way? Help me flesh that out for me a minute, and I'll see if I can.
You and I have talked about this before. In the same way that we see people set up shows all the time, and they've got all their retail they opened up on the table, and halfway through the show they're pissed off because nobody wants to buy anything anymore. This is all overprinted junk. The promoter didn't get enough people in here.
Yeah.
And the reality is they're not saving up enough money to buy cards that people want to collect.
Or they're overcharging for the junk they have.
Or
that stuff will sell at the right price.
In the same vein of like posture there, okay?
Okay.
If you will. I know we're getting a little philosophical here with this. I think what is happening with the repack conversation, the wax conversation with breaking, the easy answer is, it's all just gambling. You're not going to get your money, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
I also want to point out once again, and I know you're not going to disagree with this, the ecosystem of the cards hobby, the sports card hobby, and the boom is also dependent upon
people opening product.
And engaging in repack. Now, how that plays out, I think is important. But if you went through our comment section in the last week, it was just like, it's all degenerates, bunch of losers, nobody, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, but that card you bought at your last show, somebody opened it. Yeah. So it's just, there just seems to be, I think you're right on this, like this black and white, no gray area. I just want to say, I understand where you're coming from. If it's only for the money, then yes, you're gambling.
Yes, that's my whole point.
If you mostly buy singles, but then you get in breaks and repacks too, you're still a collector. Nobody it's like people want to put a label on somebody right away with that. It's getting out of hand, in my opinion.
Yeah, my point again was simply that if you're only getting into a break and 9 out of 10 times you're selling the card back to the repacker anyway,
sure.
Like you go to the casino.
Yeah.
Like just do that.
Well, but what if there's gamblers that like cards?
Well, then maybe, but I think a lot of times, and this goes back to, when we interviewed Alex from Collectors MD a month or so ago, which if you didn't check that content out, it's worth going and looking at. It relates to this quite a bit. There is a situation that occurs where somebody knows they have a gambling problem, but cards is different because you're getting something. It's not just a complete loss.
And there's a monetary value of some. Yes. More so with a repack, like if it actually has a floor, you know what you're.
And we can fall down that rabbit hole 100 times out of 100. I think it's a very good conversation to have. I think you're right. The definition of a collector isn't any more black and white than the definition of a degenerate gambler is.
Because the purists out there in the chat would say, then if you really collect, you just go to card shows, you walk up, you bring out your notepad, here's what I'm looking for, and it's either in the PC or nothing. No,
that's not true.
You don't get to define it like that either. So this is a conversation that people are trying to figure out what to do with this. I will say the people that are ignoring the fact that the presence of repacks breaking, how much product is moving in, there are definitely downsides to this.
Oh, for sure.
But just removing those things does not make the hobby more pure.
No, there's never been such a thing as a pure hobby. That's dumb. That's a dumb thing. If you say that to people, you're dumb.
You're probably rolling out of bed with 7 teeth in your mouth.
Yeah.
Right?
Haven't brushed your hair in 3 weeks.
Gosh, you know what's going to happen.
You invited it. We're going to get floods of this.
I didn't know you were going to go like straight to personal appearance and stuff right away. But
absolutely.
There's probably a dude with 7 teeth and like 500,000 followers on TikTok. We don't even know. We're about to get crushed.
Love it. Let's get our follower count up from that.
I don't particularly enjoy being a victim of verbal abuse all day long, but cyberbullying's real. Okay. Pop or drop. This is the part of the show where we bring up a name. These are all going to be preseason week 1 takes. Is this person a pop? Meaning value is climbing. Maybe hang on to this for a little bit, see what happens. Or is this a drop and get out of here as quick as possible? This is a dumpster fire. Did I explain it correctly?
You did.
Let's run right down the list. The name that everyone is talking about, no doubt, Shadur Sanders performs 14 for 23, 2 touchdowns. and a celebration afterwards.
Drop. I couldn't wait to get it out of my mouth.
Go ahead.
Drop. The Browns started this dude to showcase him, to trade him. That's it. They did not sign Tyler Huntley to a 2-year deal 3 days before because they're keeping 5 quarterbacks on the roster.
Okay, I agree with everything you said. However, for those reasons, he might be a pop.
No, if you have his stuff, get rid of it in the next week.
So, does a trade potentially help his market?
Where's he going to go? Where he's going to start?
If he went somewhere where he would.
If he went somewhere where he would, maybe.
So, have there been any rumblings of where he might end up?
No, not yet.
The most Cleveland thing to do would just be to hang on to him and play him like every other week.
Keep 5 QBs on the roster?
It's Cleveland.
Makes no sense.
I don't disagree. I think that ultimately this is a drop, but the caveat is you probably have another week or two of a little bit of excitement to. No, absolutely. His market did not go down after his appearance.
No, that's true.
It definitely went
That's
up.
true, but don't buy right now. That's my point.
Yeah.
He's not. That's why he's a drop. Like, you should be selling, not buying.
But if he landed somewhere, like this is like the only situation we have like this where it's a little bit interesting to see what happens. Now, there's been rumblings, but nothing else. Let's talk about New Orleans, what they have going on. Spencer Rattler.
Drop. He looked awful.
was bad.
And what's fun is for 2 months, people have been asking for him. People have been buying him like crazy. He looked terrible. Yeah. Drop.
Tyler Shuck.
He's a pop. I think he's going to be their starter. We did him in pop and drop a few weeks ago, and after what we just saw in first preseason game, even more so. He threw one terrible pick. It was a truly, well, I shouldn't say terrible pick. It's a ball that shouldn't have left his hand. The defender did make a hell of a play on it, but then he also threw a 60-yard dime into double coverage where the receiver got behind guys and just hit him in stride. I think he's going to be their starter, and he's going to be cheap early.
But I mean, I don't have anything to disagree with you on.
Okay.
And that's kind of what I'm trying to do today. So if I don't have something to disagree with,
We're
we'll
just
just
going
go on to the next one. Caleb Williams.
I think he's a pop right now, as
I
much
do
as
too.
I hate to say
I do
it,
too.
because I still am not a huge fan. His market hasn't risen as much as the other guys have. And there's a lot to like in Chicago. There really is.
Yep. They put more around him.
Yep.
I
bought a couple of
now,
nice ones
I
this
haven't
weekend.
been paying as close of attention, but I've seen a lot less of him being a pick-me in the media.
Yeah, I think he
little
may
more
have
about the
learned some
football now.
lessons last year. He may have learned a few things.
Yeah. I'll do the next one. It's a pop for me, and I'm buying him whenever I get a chance. Now, is there a little bit of Homer fan base for the college? Whatever, yeah. But I do think Justin Fields has a big uptick this year.
He looked great week 1 in the preseason.
And it looks like they're going to let him go and do his thing.
Well, and the most impressive thing to me was 2 things, really. One, he looked good throwing the ball. 4 of 5 for 42 or so yards, and then he had a 13-yard scramble for the touchdown on his one drive. But here was the thing that was really exciting to me, and it's a little thing, and it's a football coach seeing it thing that a lot of people may not notice, but it means that the entire offensive staff is congealed around the idea of letting him be who he is. On the touchdown run that Justin Fields had, did you see why it was successful? The receiver realized he had looked back and saw Justin Fields scrambling, and he faked the ball coming.
Oh, cool.
And the corner never turned around because he saw this dude's arms come out, and Justin Fields just follows them both in the end zone. That means that those guys are being coached to do that, and that's really exciting from that standpoint. So
and that division this year.
Not great.
Yeah.
The Patriots might be pretty good. We don't have Travion Henderson on this list, but
they'll take a step up for sure.
Travion Henderson looked real good.
The Bills are going to bill. You know?
Yeah, the Bills are going to win that division.
All right, so pop for both of us on Fields. I did pick up a day one. What was that? The 25. That was a cool little auto. And I grabbed a Caleb Williams. Was it passport case hit?
Yeah.
Grab one of those at the last show. So I'm a big enough pop that when we say pop, we're actually buying if we can get them right.
Yep.
I bought a couple. I got a green ice too. I just realized that.
Yeah, I bought a couple of Caleb's this weekend too.
Okay. Up last on our pop and drop segment, the one that's been talked about the most, we said, hey, we're going to find out pretty quick. Caveat being week 1 preseason football is not the time to make all of your decisions. However, J.J. McCarthy, who everyone has been fanboying like crazy this offseason, so much so they've been paying up.
Drop. He's been a drop for me. all along. He's going to stay a drop until he does something that tells me he's going to be anything more than meh. With the weapons that are around him, he should not be meh. And that's what we got week 1. He looked fine on short stuff. I just don't think he can drive the ball downfield consistently with accuracy. Again, and I've told this to anybody that I've talked to about this kid, very few times will you hear me say that I hope I'm wrong about a kid. If you're a longtime listener of the pod, you know my disdain for Zach Wilson and my rooting against him. J.J. McCarthy is the exact opposite. He seems like a great kid and a great leader and a kid who wants to be good.
If his market was
where Michael Penix's is or where Caleb Williams' is?
Yes.
Agreed.
Is it a different conversation?
Yes, absolutely. This is 100%
So the
market
pop or
related.
drop, when we do this, we're talking about where they're priced right now and where we're projecting that to be. So someone can be decent, an average starter quarterback with some real great weapons, but if they're already priced in like they're going to have 30 touchdowns.
Yeah.
It's just hard to
win a Super Bowl or win a Rookie of the Year, which you can't do.
So you'd be moving off of the JJ stuff now?
I would be moving off of the JJ stuff. I've been moving off of JJ stuff. As soon as I get it, I hope it sells the same day if I buy it.
Now, I do see him as a quarterback that can develop. I really do.
Sure, but the quarterback game in cards, especially if you're flipping them, is not hold for 2 years and hope.
Sure.
That's not that. Occasionally you get somebody. I'm a little bit that way with Will Howard right now. I think if Will Howard doesn't have to play for 2 years, he can be a really good quarterback. So buy his stuff now and hope. But guys like J.J. McCarthy, where their market's already dumb.
Mm-hmm. So it's a drop?
It's a drop.
Pop or drop has been completed. Up next, low and liquid. And then Gary has like some late season lookout for you. This low and liquid is a little different from others. In the past, I've been showing sets. What I want to do is be mindful of timing, too, for the market, as that's a big part of the low-end market. I want to tell them what the big mistake I made last week. I can't believe I didn't mention this last week. I was looking at some slow sales on eBay, and I'm thinking, man, what I've been putting up is the right stuff. It's the right timing for the stuff I'm putting up. I've been increasing the average value per card a little bit over the last 2 months. What is happening? Finally, a buyer sends a message, hey, if you're willing to ship this eBay standard envelope instead of $5 shipping,
I'll buy it.
I'll buy it full price. I start messaging back, you stupid idiot. There's no way, blah, 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 blah. And then I realize I'm the stupid idiot. There's a stupid idiot. It's me. I had on my Card Dealer Pro account in my templates 3,000, 4,000 cards ago. Had selected $4.99 shipping for some stuff that was over $20. And every card thereafter that it was listed did that. So make sure you check your shipping template on that. But we got that up and running. Low and liquid for today is just going to be me telling you, capitalize right now this month on getting your ultra modern, lower end retail rookies up. So I've got like some select stuff. I've got some prism, but like a prismatic, like a base prismatic Brock Bowers rookie. Select by the numbers, Caleb Williams. These are two cards that I'm typically in no hurry to throw up on eBay. I know they can sell, but for the next 6 weeks or so, they will sell quickly.
And those are fast at $249, right?
I mean, it's $2 to $3, probably $249, but you'll be able to move a lot more of them. Time it up. So if you have a backlog of inventory, what goes up next? Now's the window, because by the time you get to week 3, 4, or 5, the nicer, the higher end products are now in there. You have more numbered stuff. You have more variations. This is less exciting. You have to capitalize on the timing. So low and liquid. Get the ultra modern rookie stuff up now, especially the lower end of that $2 to $3 stuff. If you wait a little bit longer, it's going to be harder to sell, or you'll be overpriced off the market.
All right. Late season lookout, guys. This is we didn't announce this the last time we did the lookout. I just kind of thought it was how it was going to be, and we got a bunch of comments and requests like, when's Gary going to do this? This is the last lookout of the year. In about 3 weeks, the rosters expand, and all the guys who are worth calling up are going to get called up. So this is going to be just a touch point on a couple, 3 guys that aren't even guys I think are going to get called up, with the exception of one of them, maybe 2. But they are guys who, from a market standpoint right now, are still quite attainable, and they have jumped dramatically across the board in all of the major top 100 rankings. So we're going to touch on 3 guys, try to get this in about 5 minutes here. And then once this is done for the year, always feel free to drop comments or ask questions. about guys. I'll answer any that I can. I can't promise I'll answer all of them because I may not see him or I may not know about that guy. But if I can, I will. So here we go. First off, Thomas White, Miami Marlins. Thomas White is 20 years old. He's a pitcher currently in Double-A. His stuff is in 2023 Bowman. He was the 35th overall pick in 2022, maybe 2023. Yeah, 2023, sorry. Consensus best left-handed arm in the draft, but he dropped because he was committed to Vanderbilt. Miami paid him $4.1 million to get him away from that Vanderbilt commitment. First year was a little rough, but this year he's put it all together. 2.47 ERA. Here's the eye-opener. 102 strikeouts in 65 innings pitched. That's, like 102 strikeouts in 65 innings pitched. And he's not just like a two-pitch guy. The command is solid. He doesn't have a sub-1 whip, but it's like a 1.013 whip. So right there where he needs to be for maintaining a position as a starter, and won't be up this year, but I think he's knocking on the door next year. His stuff is still really, really affordable. One of the caveats in this hobby with baseball prospecting is to avoid pitchers, but we have seen 3 or 4 pitchers pop off like crazy in the last 2 or 3 years. So that may be a dying trope. It may be worth looking at some of these guys. Next guy on the list today is Jet Williams. Now, if you're a longtime prospector, you probably remember that name. New York
He was the
Mets.
Chase.
He was the guy for the Mets in 2022 Bowman draft. Market got super hot in 2023 early because of what he did after getting drafted. And then he got hurt, and he played 33 games last year and then missed the rest of the year. All he's done since he came back this year, full season at AAA as a 21-year-old, so 2.5, 3 years younger than the average of the level, is hit 281, a 390 on base percentage, and a 477 slugging percentage for an 867 867 OPS with 32 stolen bases. He's gonna stick in center field. He's fast. Does strike out a decent amount, but he walks enough to compensate for it. Over 100-point difference between his batting average and his on-base percentage. And it's not a 220 batting average. High 200s. His stuff was really high, and it's dropped way down. It's starting to creep back up, but this is another kid who I think is in the conversation to get called up when the rosters expand and maybe stick with the big league club out of spring training next year, so you still have a window. Last guy on the list, hometown guy for us, a guy that I've liked since he was drafted. Liked him so much that in our challenge a couple years ago, it was the first card that I bought for the challenge.
And I'll never forgive Craig for that deal. I hope he's listening.
You've done plenty since then to make up for it.
It doesn't make up for it, Craig. I'm still hurt.
Sal Stewart, Cincinnati Reds. 21 years old. He was drafted in 2022. He was the competitive balance round A, so technically a first-round pick out of high school. We've talked about him a couple times over the years, how bat-dependent he was. Well, the bat has turned up. And if you follow the Reds farm system, you know that over the last couple of years, they've had a pretty big logjam on infielders. At the trade deadline, one of them was going away, and it wasn't Sal Stewart. They ended up trading Sammy Stafura, their first-round pick last year, instead in the Cabrian Hayes deal. Sal Stewart is 21 in AAA, split the year between Double and AAA this year. Check this slash line out, Jason. Third baseman, probably going to be a first baseman in the bigs and DH. He can pinch in at third if he needs to, but probably not. 307, 376, 497 for an 873 OPS with 14 home runs. Here's the real kicker. He's a sub 20% K guy and a 10% walk guy.
Ooh.
Right? So he's going to get on base. He's even stolen a few bases. For a thicker kid, like, you don't look at him and go, this is a steal threat.
Right.
He's not a complete, like, write-off in that category. I think he's got 10 or 11 stolen bases this year. You give me a first baseman in the majors, they'll steal you 10 to 15 stolen bases a year. I'll take that all day long. So, again, a guy whose stuff is starting to creep, but he went from bottom of the top 100 and outside of the top 100 for a few major publications at the beginning of this year, to 31 on MLB Pipeline as of today. So the window to grab his stuff is closing. Again, a guy who may get the call at the roster expansion in September, if not a real threat to stick out of spring training next year. So that has been a late season lookout, last lookout segment of this baseball season. We'll be back with it in spring training next year.
I hope all you prospecting nerds enjoyed that. It's going to be a minute.
Jason was vegetating over here the whole time.
Just trying not to fall asleep. I just got to remember the camera's on. You can't roll your eyes every time. No, that's cool. Sal Stewart, love it. Ball cards, buy low, sell high. I'm in. Hey, quick reminder before we wrap up today. We are live every Thursday night on Whatnot at the Ballcard Show, all one word. Be sure to hang out with us there. We are really starting to dial in on the late 90s through 2010 modern stuff. Tons of baseball, football to bring into that. Basketball, we could find it. That's a little trickier.
Yep.
But be sure to join us if you haven't. Follow us on all these different platforms. You may be seeing us on socials. Give us a follow there. There should be a link in the bio wherever you are to catch us full-length episodes on YouTube.
Yep.
Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. This has been the Ballcard Show, the sports podcast.
For the Sports Collector.
Bye.
Peace.